everybody, it's Mrs. Pettis, and today we are creating these cute little popsicle postcards. They are great for summer. They're also good for thank you notes. I like to create thank you notes that I can send through the mail because not everybody gets mail anymore, but they do like it. These watercolor postcards are blank on one side and the other side has the space for writing. I'm going to be using these Artesia brush pens. They're awesome. They also have this like watercolor, this water brush that you can use to blend the colors. You do not need to use these. You can use Crayola or any sort of water-soluble marker as long as they are washable or water-soluble. You can also use just a plain watercolor brush and some water. So what I did was you could free draw some popsicle shapes onto the watercolor paper. I made this template because I knew I was going to be making a lot of them. So I used my circle punch and then I elongated the circle into more of a popsicle shape, and it has this little like ridge at the bottom. And cut them out so that all I had to do was put them here and trace them with a pencil. Popsicles look a little bit like ghosts, so if you have them, if you want to draw that shape, that would be great. The next thing, if we are going to be, one of the things that I like to do is when I'm starting out is I go through and I start with my lightest color, and I'm just going to add this on the bottom. And the way that postcards are made, popsicles are made, I'm sorry, is that they tend to have these like ridges inside. So at first I don't worry too much about that. Kind of adding my colors, I go with a light color and then I kind of make them go darker at the bottom. You can make your popsicles any flavor you want, any colors you want. The ones that I tend to do are colors that look good when they blend in with each other on the color wheel. So I have my two colors there, and then I'm going to take either a brush with some water, or I can take this brush that came with the set, and I'm just going to kind of rehydrate that and push it around a little bit. And I don't want to blend too much. I want to get everything kind of wet on the popsicle and then kind of let it be, because I like seeing the difference in the colors and how they sort of blend, but they don't too much. And then I can kind of wipe my brush off on a paper towel. Okay, I would do all three of these, and while that's drying, what you can do is you can actually draw the popsicle sticks on the bottom. I like to use a ruler and a pencil. Go down here, I kind of draw a very light line, okay? That's to make sure that all of my popsicle sticks are all going to be the same. I can come down. I'm going to draw a couple of parallel lines, and just very lightly. And then on that line is where I want them to kind of curve. Okay? Now for these, what I want to do, I would do these when this is dry. So a lot of times, if you make a few of these, it's the best. So you can do all of your popsicles on a few different postcards, put them aside, let them dry. You can dab them, but I like to let them dry naturally and see what happens. And then I go back afterwards and I add things. Like I add these darker ridges inside the popsicles, and I add the stick later. Okay, so don't go and do that yet, because if you go and have this wet part of the popsicle and then you draw the stick on here, they're going to, the water, the moisture from this is going to start to pull into the popsicle stick, and you maybe aren't going to like that. So, all right, so I'm going through with my pen. I have this tan color, and I'm doing my popsicle stick with that. And then I want to have, I'm going to go in with a brown. I'm going to add this secondary shadow, and then pull down and around. And I like having the two different colors. It makes it seem like there's kind of a more harsh shadow. And then later on, when this is dry, what I can do is I can start putting these lines on there. But I want to wait till they're dry. If I don't, it's going to sort of like disperse out and blend. That might be the look that you're going for. That's okay too. But once this is dry, I'm going to take that darker color and I'm going to come down and I'm going to just pull like a little J. Okay? And if you go to do it and it doesn't stick out enough and you want this to be a little bit darker, you can go in with a darker color and you can kind of add to it. Now this is going to stand out a lot here because we are doing it on white, but once you are doing it on here onto this yellow and orange, you maybe won't notice these as much. They won't stand out as much. Okay, so first step, we make our base color of our popsicle. Second step, we can start putting on those shadows and our popsicle sticks. Last thing I like to do is I like to create some shadow underneath my popsicles, and it kind of gives them that I don't know, it balances it out visually, I think, and it makes them look a little bit cooler. You don't have to do this. I take a gray and I kind of come up a little bit around the popsicle stick. I don't know, kind of do that sort of thing. And I do it underneath all my popsicles at the same time. And then I take my water and I just go and rehydrate that. Spread that around a little bit. I leave the top edge nice and sharp so I don't go over the gray into the white up here. But down here, I can pull this around and do whatever I want. And then I just let it just happen, you know? Let's wash up our brush. Okay, and there you have it. When you follow these 3 steps or so, you are going to have a postcard that looks like this. So first step, we put our colors of our popsicles, blend them with some water. When they're dry, we move on to adding those divots into the popsicle to make it look like it has some texture to it. And we add our popsicle sticks at the bottom. And then when we're ready, the last step that we do is we add a bit of shadow at the bottom using light gray. Okay, I hope this has been helpful to you. Make sure that you are, trying lots of them at the same time. See what happens and what color combinations and flavor combinations you can come up with. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Bye.